Hi guys, so today we're looking at the written Spanish exam, and in particular we're going to be having a look at section C. So section C, question 1, you're given the choice between either a dialogue or a formal letter/email. So in terms of the two pieces, both of them you have 30 minutes to do them, and marks wise they're both worth 30 marks. A lot of students tend to opt for the dialogue in the sense that it saves them having to think about their points. Your points are already there in English and you're just translating. So you're given 6 different turns, as they call them, which are the mini paragraphs, and you're asked to translate them. And these are all marked out of a total of 6 marks. So you can score anywhere between 0 and 6. And the same applies then to the formal letter in terms of time and marks. In the case of the letter, which we're going to be looking at in more detail today, you're always asked to write a letter to the editor of a newspaper. So for example, in 2023, the title was Spanish People Should Spend Time in Ireland to Improve Their English. You're then given a range of points. So at the moment, it's 8 points are given that are relevant to this topic. And you're asked to write about 5 of them. You can make up your own as well, so keep that in mind. That can be really handy if some of the points have like a specific piece of vocab that you're not familiar with, and you can think of a point that's relevant to the topic that you're better able to say using your own Spanish. So just remember that that's an option. You don't have to do the points that they give you. So in terms of points then, you're picking 5 and they're going to be worth 6 marks each. And in terms of how that's broken down per point, you're going to get 3 marks alone for just stating the point itself, and then you're going to get 3 marks for expansion. So you do need to expand on your points. So an example would be from 2023, we had the point, the cost of living is expensive. So literally, if you went and stated, el coste de vivir es caro, you're getting your 3 marks with nothing else. However, to achieve the full 6 marks, you need approximately another 2 sentences of expansion. So give me an example. How much is the rent typically? How much is a house to buy? That kind of thing. In terms of layout then, so it is a formal letter, so you do need a slightly formal look on the letter. So what that means is maybe for your opening, you might open with something like estimado señor, or you could say either estimada señora. Both are perfect. Once you've done that, you've kind of indicated that you're talking about something formal, therefore you'll get your mark in terms of style. If you forget to include that, realistically you're only talking about a mark or 2 anyway, but it's still a mark that's worth getting. In terms of the sign off then, I would go with something like muchas gracias. I'd avoid the un beso or hasta luego, okay, because you don't want it to be too casual. A common mistake that I've seen from correcting exams would be students writing too much. So they take their point, if we look back over here, the cost of living is expensive. They give me another sentence or 2. I'm all set to give them the 6 marks. They've then included an extra sentence or 2. So they've actually written me a small paragraph and there's mistakes. And in that case, then I would have to take the marks off them. So my advice here, and one of the biggest mistakes people make, would be to keep it short, translate the point directly, give your 2 sentences or so of expansion and leave it at that. And also pick your points in a way that's kind of smart. Make sure you know the vocab and make sure you know the verbs that you're talking about. And like I said, if you can pick maybe say 3 points you're very sure of, the rest of them you're not too sure, come up with your own points and use the Spanish you have. Sometimes the topics here, like stuff that you've learned for your role play, might be relevant, and something you've looked at for an opinion piece could be relevant as well. So just be smart about it when you're answering it. And the last thing I'll say about it here is really watch your verbs. So little mistakes such as agreements, if there's only 1, can be overlooked. A verb mistake can never be overlooked. So straight away that's going to be a -1. And again, if you have 2 or 3 verbs in your point and there's a little mistake in each, you are talking about -3 marks. So really important to have your verbs correct. The same applies to the dialogue as well. The verbs will be looked at in the same light. Thanks very much.